Okay, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an evening of music by Jobim, as he is best known. I gotta talk into this mic.
Yeah.
See, this is we have to rehearse. That's right. I'm sorry, folks out there in Streamland. I forgot I have to talk into this thing as well. We're here for an evening of music by Jobim. An interesting note on that nickname, it was given to him by his little sister when she was still a toddler, because she couldn't say Antonio. And so he's known throughout everywhere in Brazil as Jobim. They don't use his whole name. So Jobim, and the point was to not play the ones that you always hear, much as we love them all. So this is no Girl from Ipanema, no Wave tonight. We have a bunch of others. But that being said, everything he ever wrote was a hit somewhere, so there's nothing terribly obscure. Anyway, here we go. Brigas Nunca Mais, lyric by Vinicius Memoration. One of the reasons I gave out these things before that have people's. Oh, you are bad. So for the people out in online, that was Brigas Nunca Mais, and the lyric was written by Vinicius de Moraes. I included for the people in the house some information not only on Tom Jobim but a little bit on the lyricist because, well, with any good song, the lyrics are important. So even as many of these songs will not be sung, the lyrics are certainly important to me as a performer, and I find them very interesting. Vinicius was collaborated with Tom a lot in the 60s, and he was a poet, an interesting guy, poet and a diplomat, and a man about town. Anyway, and his poems his lyrics are all very nice poems, and in this one he presents us with two protagonists who have somehow bumped heads, shall we say. But in the course of this lovely song, they realize that they need to comfort each other to get out of their conflict, and then brigas nunca mais, no more quarrels, quarrel no more. So we'd like to continue now with one by Dolores Duran was the lyricist in this next one. Dolores Duran was a wonderful singer who unfortunately was born with a heart problem, and she was only 29 when she died, but she collaborated with Tom early in his career, and this was one that she wrote. It's called Estrada do Sol, and in this one, our protagonist has either is a lot on her mind, or just had a bad dream. Depends on the performer. Well, Dolores's own performance is quite slow and sort of suggests that there's, the latter, but most people do it as if it were just a bad dream. So the metaphor of rain for not being happy and then coming out asking a friend or a loved one to take her for a walk, or anybody could sing it. Anyway, Estrada do Sol. One, two, three, four, Next, we have another one with a lyric by Vinicius, and this one was fairly simple. It's the wise old man Vinicius is giving advice to young Luciana about love, and he acknowledges to her that oh, love is wonderful and thrilling, but there can also be pain in love, he says. Well, the joys of technology, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I want. adjustments for going live on the internet, I neglected something that I like to do at the beginning, so I shall do it now. At the piano, Kat Shoemaker, and voice. Our bassist is Antar Martin. And as some prefer to say, drums and cymbals. We have Julian Cantal. And my name is Paul Combs, and it's a great pleasure to share this evening with you. Thank you. This sort of show is an elaborate production, so you'll have to bear with me as I move things around and get comfortable. So we have a song from later in Jobim's career. I think this one dates from 1980, and one to which he wrote the lyric. He also wrote lyrics. He translated into English some of the lyrics in the songs and so on. I'm as somebody who's stuck here in the United States and doesn't get to speak other languages with people, I'm always embarrassed by these people. His English was quite good, and as was his French and his Italian and his Spanish. So it's probably his German also. Who knows? But anyway, você vai ver, which means you will see, you will see, and. The theme is something like the American Songbook song "After You've Gone," except there's something in the lyric that suggests that maybe our protagonist is fooling himself and kind of knows it, but he's going to hold on to that thought. She's going to come back, and I'll tell her. Um, my Brazilian friends tell me that the word saudade doesn't have an accurate translation into English, and it's translated as longing. But I'm coming to understand through these songs what some of the other nuances. So it's longing, not just that you you missed that car that you traded in or something. Well, it could have a little bit with that, but there's always something else mixed in with the longing. So these ballads are apparently all about saudade. We continue now on a happier note. I like to point out before announcing and before getting into this song that Tom Jobim was very faithful to his wives, both of them. But he and Vinicius definitely like to engage in girl watching, as we know from the girl from Ipanema. So this is another song about Vinicius and Tom Jobim go girl watching. It's called Ela é Carioca, but not just any carioca. Ele et Carioca, Vinicius and Tom. This next one, I'm going to leave to Kat and the band, but I will introduce it. It's called Caminos Cruzados, and the lyricist here was Newton Mendonça, who wrote many of the big hits, at least in the United States, with Tom. Newton's interesting because he and Tom were friends from childhood, and unlike working with Vinicius, who would, I guess they would figure out what the song was about, but Tom would write the music and then Vinicius would write the lyrics. Newton and Tom would sit at the piano together and work on the songs. In this song, we find two broken-hearted people, but their paths cross, and who knows what might happen.
They're going to continue to suffer. That's the only Portuguese word I really know in here. So when you hear sofrer, they're suffering. Anyway, there we go.
Quando coração que está cansado de sofrer encontra coração também cansado de sofrer. É tempo de se pensar que o amor pode de repente chegar. Quando existe alguém que tem saudade de alguém, esse de alguém não entender. Desde de novo amor chegar, mesmo que depois seja presente a chorar. Que tudo foi o que não tentei raciocinar. As coisas do amor que ninguém pode explicar. Ver nós dois vamos tentar. Só de um novo amor, hoje a saudade apagar. Quando existe alguém que tem saudade de alguém, e vocês outro alguém não entender. Desde de novo amor chegar, mesmo que depois seja impossível de chorar. Foi a quem vai tentar raciocinar.
It was sad all the way, right?
Once again, Cat Shoemaker, Anton Martin, Julian Cantal. Okay. We continue another song of Camino. This is Camino de Pedra, a lyric by Vinicius and one of his lovely poems, in which he likens the journey of life as being like a journey on a path that takes us into the wilderness. Caminos de Pedra. This next song, all of these were new to me until the pandemic, and really new to my repertoire until we decided to do this show, except for this next one. I worked with a singer back in Massachusetts before I moved here, quite some time ago actually now. And anyway, she was Tanya Miller, and Tanya was very much into the Brazilian composers, and introduced me to many of them back then, although I didn't have the time to dig in as deeply as I hope to going forward. Anyway, of all the songs that I played with her, this one really stuck with me and became part of my regular repertoire. It's called Eu Sei Que Vou Te Amar, and the lyric is by Vinicius. And the English translation is really kind of over the top, but it's a very romantic song in which one professes their undying love for their loved one. And I was playing in a restaurant one time with a guitarist, just a duo. We were in a bay window, and the people came in through the door over there, and sitting in front of us was a young woman from Brazil. And she had this, at that time, there was sort of an easy chair that she was sitting in, and it was in between sittings, so she was just sitting there waiting for the next time when she was going to have to check people in. So I played this tune, and she turned around afterwards with tears in her eyes. She said, "Oh, that's my mama's favorite song, and she's still in Brazil, and I miss her so much." Well, the happy news was Mama made it up to Lowell, Massachusetts, and she and her daughter opened a very nice little Brazilian restaurant together. Anyway, Eu Sei Que Vou Te Amar.
But I'm gonna play, but I don't have to play.
No.
You wanna do a trio?
I just want to. As I said, we wanted to get 11 songs on this program, and so this is what I call a scripted gig. So we have to keep everything straight in our heads. Anyway, Tom did not like to fly, and this was an international star, but he didn't like to fly. He got used to it. He did, because he was back and forth from Rio to New York an awful lot in the 60s and into the 70s, and even later on in the 80s he had an apartment in New York because he had to do business there and so on. Anyway, so he wrote this song. This is one where he wrote the lyric. Gene Lees did a translation, and it was recorded in the United States, but it's got a lot going on in it, so I can understand how it didn't get into the fake books. But Samba de Avion, and if you go online to YouTube and look up the performance that was done by his wonderful Banda Nova, this ensemble that he had for the last 10 years of his life, with a choir of women and cello and flute. His son was on guitar, and the wonderful Paulo Braga on drums, and the bass player was Tao Neto, who was an old friend of his. The point is that they, as I got to understand this ensemble, these were all friends and family, and very close people, so it made for a really terrific ensemble. Anyway, their performance of Samba de Avion has this verse to it, has an introductory verse, in which Tom prays to many deities, from Jesus to Shango. He prays that the plane will land safely. So this is a song about coming back into Rio, and we're gonna turn Julian loose on this at some point. Not as fast as I called it last night. Thank you, Vice, by the way, for that last night.
One, two.
Well, we have a couple more for you. These last two were collaborations with another remarkable creative person named Chico Buarque. And I have to confess, I didn't know much about Chico Buarque, except I recognized the name. I knew he was, he was a major figure in all that time. But Chico is an extraordinary guy. He's a novelist, a playwright, a performer himself. That I knew. And anyway, long about the time that Vinicius started hanging out more in Europe, so he wasn't around so much to write songs with Tom. And around that time, Chico, who already had some songs out there recorded, came into Tom's circle of friends, and he was another one who, like Newton Mendoza, enjoyed the process of working up the songs. So these were real collaborations, the ones that Chico and Tom did. And this one in particular, I come to realize, was also a personal big hit for Chico, because you go online and you see him performing live. Anytime he does this song, the audience just goes nuts. They love it. Anyway, it's another instance of saudade. Our protagonist, and comes across a photograph that he has of an old flame named Maria. And he sees this picture, and it all comes back to him, especially her kisses. And he knows this is foolish, but he can't help himself, and he calls her up, and he gets her answering machine. Like I say, Chico's a novelist and a playwright, too. And he gets her answering. So there's a whole interesting story in this little song. And he gets her answering machine, and he leaves the message. I love you. Anyway, and he says that love is like a bolero, and so we do this as a bolero, and it's called Anos Dorados. It was translated by Tom himself, and got some airplay back, I guess, in the 70s. When was this written? Oh, no, later than that. 86 this was. So it must have been on a later album. It was known as Looks Like December. But again, it for some reason, I don't know why, it didn't become in. So we've given it to you tonight. Anos Dorados. Get your hankies up. Says you get a half on this. It says you get a half. I can't believe it's, Ah, okay. It seems like it zipped right by. I don't know. Anyway, it's, this is our last number. And I want to thank you all for coming out to share this evening of music by the wonderful Tom Jobim. I always, as all of us, I had a great admiration for him from a long time ago when oh golly, I guess I was in high school then. Middle school. Anyhow, but it's been a great adventure for me just to get to know this guy a little better. And if you'd like to know more about him, there is only one biography, unbelievably, only one biography. But fortunately, it's by his sister, and it is available in an English translation. And I'll warn you ahead of time, it's not a very good translation, but it's what we've got. And I imagine if you can read Portuguese, you can probably find it if you go searching enough. But it is available. I got it from Barnes and Noble. So it's called An Illuminated Man. Anyway, I've had the great pleasure of getting to work once again with Julian Cantel. Antar Martin, Pat Shoemaker, my name is Paul Combs, and we want to thank you. We want to thank Leonard Patton for making this space happen. Yeah, give him a big, lots of love for Leonard. Near the end of Tom's life, he was honored by the Samba School of Mangueira. Mangueira is one of the favelas in Rio de Janeiro. And they honored him by making their carnival presentation all Jobim. And they have floats and people, I don't know if you understand Carnival, but, one of the floats even had Tom sitting atop it. Anyway. So I think in connection with this, Chico came up with this little fantasy of either Tom or Chico getting a little place up in the favela. And in this song, they're going to move the piano up to their place and have a party. So it's called Piano na Mangueira, a piano in Mangueira.
Right there? Does that feel good to you?
Sure. Oh, he's got a thing.
What?
Go ahead. I have to do my instrument.
How could we let Julian pick the tempo?
You're singing, aren't
roll
you?
the dice. I can spit the words out really. No, like this. About like that.
It's gonna speed up anyways.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Then go faster,
I'm just kidding.
please.
branco, branca chapéu. Prepara, vem me apresentar a vida toda parceira. Mandei subir o piano pra Mangueira. A linda música não é de inventar poeira, mas vou entrar no baracá, onde cabrou de aventura, onde houver a gente qualquer guerra. Mangueira, mangueira, a mangueira, mangueira, mangueira.
Once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been lovely to spend this evening with you. Oh, I do have some, a few of my CDs, none of which have any of Jobim's music on them, I'm afraid, but, and a book that I wrote, if you're interested, and a sign-up sheet for my, my newsletter, my email newsletter, yes. Here you go.
Give it up once again for these guys, these wonderful musicians. The next two nights, I will not be here, but the next two nights we have a wonderful musician. His name is Cole Scott Rubin. We did a thing the other night. He's a wonderful bass player, but he also plays tuba. He's comedic, he's funny. He played tuba and bass at the same time on one tune. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. It was pretty nuts. He's fantastic. He'll be joined by Ed Kornhauser on piano and tomorrow night, and Richard Sellers on drums. And then Saturday, it won't be Ed on piano. It'll be John Garner on guitar. So that's the next two nights. Next week, at the end of the week, we're celebrating Savoy Records and songs from 10 different albums that kind of made that label. And this starts a 10-week series, not 10 weeks in a row, but 10 spread out weeks all through August. We're going through some iconic records and songs, so you can imagine, if you know jazz, you know what will be in store as the weeks go on. And then the following week, we got 5 nights of Ella Fitzgerald Louis Armstrong tribute, which is almost sold out. There's like some seats left for a few of the nights, so, but it's probably going to be all sold out by next week or the end of next week. So if you're interested in that, otherwise, these people will be back in some way, shape, or form down the road. So God bless you all. Be safe. Thank you.